Hi everyone, New England Gardening here. As you can see, I've got some cans of paint. We all have old cans of paint sitting around. But I'm thinking of using one of these for garden related painting. And that is painting the trunks of the citrus trees I just brought outside. Now I have not done this in the past, but some of them I have really pruned back. I wanted like a tree form, and the whole trunks are exposed. And from what I read, it's a good idea to do the painting of the trunks on young trees. But like I said, I haven't done this in the past, and I have not seen, or I do not have any damage that is related to the UV or scorching by the sun. I just have that one Meyer lemon tree that was physical damage when I dropped a jack on it. But from what I've read, you can take just regular latex paint, and you want to cut that with water. So you would use 1 part latex paint and 1 part water. You want to use an interior latex paint because evidently exterior paints might have an antimicrobial ingredient in it, and I bet something like Kills, which is for stain coverage, has that in there because I think they want to also prevent any mold. Now a product like Kills probably has something like that in there because in addition to having good coverage on stain related issues like water, it's probably trying to prevent mold from occurring also if it's a water related damage. So I'm looking at these. I have some interior acrylic and I have some enamel, and my instinct is that enamel might probably crack. So I'm looking at which one of these might be a semi-gloss interior. This here, ultra pure white. Interior. Some of these are interior exterior. Now this is a semi-gloss enamel. Don't want that. And some of these are so old that when you go to open them, the lid's all rusted and you get a bunch of rust falling into the paint. So this here, this is an acrylic latex. I don't know if this is white though. What is this? Looks like it says extra white, but this doesn't look white. So I'm thinking of going with this one. This one here, Rust-Oleum. It's like a newest paint that I have. Easy soap and water cleanup, so it can't be too harsh if it's an easy cleanup type of product with water and soap. So I'm going to take a little of that and put it in a cup and then dilute it with 1 part paint, 1 part water, and paint the trunks on my citrus trees. Now you can use tape. They have white tape and those plastic covers that you loop around the trunk, but I found those great hiding places for earwigs, and also even like a label on a tree. It seems like the best place for the scale to hide. You might think you have no scale, and then you move that label and they're all underneath the part that wraps around the branch or the trunk, wherever it's attached. So I think the paint is a good option. If you have a large orchard, I guess, what you can do is take like 3 pounds of salt, which when I first read that, I thought that was kind of weird, and 12 quarts of water, and then 10 pounds of hydrated lime, and mix that up, and I guess you can use that to paint trunks too. So that's an option to give you larger quantities, I guess. I wouldn't be able to use that much. I don't have that many fruit trees. So let me mix up a batch and start painting. So definitely going to have to mix this up. Okay, so I mixed that for a good 10 minutes. Looks like it's mixed up nice. Let me pour some of that into just a cup here. I just need small quantities if I have to make some more. Let's see how much coverage I get. So I filled that to the first line, so I'm going to use that line in this cup to fill it with water. So in goes the water. It's a good amount of paint there, or whitewash. That's going to be more than enough, I would imagine, for the trees I get. Mix this up. And we can start painting. So this is a Four Winds grower, a tree that I really severely pruned. The one thing about these dwarf trees is it's just, you know, this huge bush shape that was sort of cumbersome to move around, and the branches grew kind of leggy. So I'm trying to get this into a tree shape, see if it's possible. But you can see the whole trunk is exposed. And this is the one I had some dieback, I think, from cold weather. Had some damage here, but it's recovering and healing up nice. So if anything is going to benefit from this whitewash, it would be this one. It's really nothing. I have it near this Golden Delicious, so it does get some shade here. But yeah, this looks like a whitewash, all right. Nice and thin. So I'll just paint this whole trunk here. I wonder if I have one of those foam brushes, might be better. I just found this one lying around. So I'm going right down to the soil line, trying to get those exposed roots. This one here is in the turfus mix. Seems to like the turfus. So I've had success with the turfus and then the 511 mixes. Turfus is a lot heavier though. So I'm going right up to the top on this. There it is. And that's what it looks like. So the next one is this Meyer lemon tree. Need to repot this. This is all brittle from a UV. I'm going to paint right up into the canopy here. That looks good. So I think this is my favorite. This is an Aurora Satsuma. This is a tree. I forget the growers. It's hard to find these now in my area. There's a full-grown tree ahead shipped to me. It's from, is it Saxon? I think is the grower. I know I called once and, because the place I originally purchased it from couldn't get it. And they gave me the number of like some brother-in-law. I never called them back. Didn't want to give some individual my credit card number over the phone. Sounded like somebody was just making some extra money on the side, a relative. So, but this here really doesn't even need it because the canopy pretty much keeps a shadow on this trunk, but it's got the original metal post in here. Let me take this out. Wow, I think it's welded to the roots. But I'm going to paint it anyways. This is in a 511 mixture. It seems to really like it. Although I think it's kind of root bound now. It dries out real quick. Give this a nice coating up into the canopy. I'm curious to see how easily this stuff washes off during the course of the summer. Should have watered these trees first because they need to be watered. Have to be careful. Here's a watering can. Oh. I get more than enough here. I have to put it into a jar, save it. Good thing I looked in the rain barrel. I just rescued this bumblebee. He was on his back. I thought he was completely dead, but he's moving. Or she. I put him in the tree here. I bet that bee's about the size of one of the chickadee babies. Just about to paint this last tree here, and I notice here's an example of what happens when you have growth that occurs under protected conditions in the greenhouse. It's just not used to getting subjected to the wind and the environment, and got a branch broken off here. But I'm wondering if I just put some wood glue in there, and then I was going to tie it with tape, and maybe I'll just tie it with a little string. I don't know. But yeah, you can see these are kind of leggy, and they break off. And this is another tree I really severely pruned, not knowing what I'm doing here, but trying to get a tree shape. One here actually had this really leggy growth on it, and it just broke under their own weight. And I just snapped them off. They just grew. They sprouted wherever these branches used to be. So they were just too weak. Couldn't even support their own weight. I think when they're constantly getting flexed in the wind, back and forth, it toughens them up, and I think the cell structure ends up being a lot stronger. You can see how leggy this is. So let me see if I can, I mean, it's not a big deal, but I'm just curious to see if I can put some wood glue on that and then tie it up. So I'm getting a little sidetracked here, but I'll do this real quick. I actually had a Meyer lemon tree that I fixed by drilling a hole and putting a screw through a split that I had caused when I dropped the jack on there, and that worked out. And I took the screw out later on. So I got a piece of string here somewhere. So I'm just going to bring this section back together again. Okay, so I finished that. It's just an experiment. See if that works, but what I decided to do also is I put this stake in because I want this to grow straight up, and that risked breaking off too. It's just heavy. Maybe I should thin this out a little bit, but I've got it secured to that stake, so that's not going to break off, hopefully. Let's get back to the regularly scheduled program and whitewash this one. You can see the nice, I really like the exposed roots on this. Try to get some paint on those also. Now I should have added when I first started this that what I've seen is that people actually wash the trunk, scrub it down with a brush or one of those dish sponges, but I don't know if that's necessary. This doesn't look like it's going to peel or flake off. These aren't caked in dust. I did wash these down yesterday, so I don't think they need a lot of prep. So I think I want to get in here too, because that's really exposed to the sun also. And last, I almost forgot, although I think I might just keep it in the lean-to. I don't know, if I paint it, I might as well take it outside. This is the air layer, and it successfully survived the winter in the lean-to without any problems. I think. Is that burned right there? I don't know. But yeah, that might be scorched on this side that was facing the sun. Uh-oh. So this is what I think you can avoid when you whitewash. Ooh, and there's an aphid. So was there an aphid problem on this too? Might have to wash this off real quick. But uh-oh, yeah, looks like, no, I think actually the, now that I recall, it had that damage going into the air layer. So I might, at least I don't have to worry about the graft point here. So this looks like there's, you know, if anything I could train this and eventually cut this off. I don't know, but we'll see what that does. I'll whitewash this though. Yeah, so this is the air layer, my first air layer, citrus air layer. I can't recall if this was a Aurora Satsuma, but let me whitewash this trunk here. Yeah, if I can recall, it had that damage there, and I think it was sun damage. I don't know if maybe something was reflecting off of the tin foil. I know I couldn't, I was wondering how that occurred. So that's odd. I don't know, it's got some nice growth on it, so seems to be doing okay with that damage there. I don't know if that eventually will heal in. So this does not have a rootstock with it, so this is going to be a full-size citrus tree if it survives the next 10 years. So I've got them all whitewashed now. There's a Aurora Satsuma, and there's another Aurora Satsuma. It's a Shinoto orange. It's a Meyer lemon tree. And I can't recall, I think this is another Aurora Satsuma. Tango Mandarin. So I think this is an orange tree. I forget the variety. Been meaning to put a new tag on that one. I'll have to research that. And I went ahead with this Meyer lemon tree bush shaped. This is the one that dropped the jack on, and this one here I really pruned so the trunk is really exposed to the sun, so I whitewashed that also. And of course my first air layer, went ahead and whitewashed that too. So this is New England gardening for the first time, whitewashing the trunks on my citrus trees that I just brought outside yesterday. Thanks for watching.